Thanks so much, Charlotte. Mehmet Celik is an editorial coordinator for Daily Sabah, and he joins me here in studio. Good to see you again, Mehmet Bey.
Good to see you, Imran.
It's been a while. So on that night, the coup plotters had, for a period of time, taken control of state media. They took control of this building. They took control of Ankara. They choked and throttled and squeezed independent voices reporting on the coup plot as it was unfolding. And that's why that moment of President Erdogan on FaceTime is so powerful and symbolic, because he got to give his version of what was happening and speak to the people. During that period of time, you had outside media doing their best or worst in trying to figure out what was going on. You were frustrated at some reporting on that night and beyond on the coup attempt. Tell me more about that.
Imran, first of all, I would like to commemorate that day, which I call it a day of pride, but that day that we defended our democracy with over 200 people losing their lives. You know, one of the challenges, I think, for that day and beyond was with the foreign media. Now, typically they come and take a snapshot and try to understand and explain what is happening in Türkiye or elsewhere, where foreign correspondents are dispatched to the field. Now, typically, if a coup happens through military and they try to topple down the existing government and try to take over the country for a period of time until the transition happens. With this, the problem was that this group, the terrorist group that tried to take over or topple the government, had infiltrated into various institutions of the government and private sector for the past 40 years. Now, this was a very difficult thing for the foreign media to understand, as this wasn't a traditional coup as we see it elsewhere around the world. Now, this was, very difficult to explain to them, that background information. In addition, due to President Erdogan's powerful leadership, I think coupled with a bias against him as well, it made it a very big challenging and frustrating for the local reporters or local media to explain what is happening here is not just a military coup as we understand it throughout the history. Previously, Turkey experienced coups which were also supported by the outsiders. But this was a group within Turkey which had infiltrated in various sectors in the government as well as in the private sector, which now has carried out a coup not just to topple the existing government, but this was an attempt, this was basically an attempt trying to overthrow the democracy in the country. I mean, the parliament was bombed. No coup plotters or in other countries, they do not go with F-16s and bomb the parliament. The parliament is sovereignty of a country. This was an attack not just on Mr. Erdogan's government, AK Party government at the time. This was an attempt to attack the country's democracy, and invaded in the afterwards events, showing that the country is not able to govern itself anymore. There is a chaos, there is disorder, and foreign intervention would fall in.
You say there was a bias, and there was also the need for the state to tell its story. On both sides of this, 8 years on, has it got better? Is it clearer as to what happened, why, how, and the context?
I think for the eye that wants to see, it is very clear. For the ear that wants to hear, this incident was very clear to be heard. And for the mind that is open, it was very easy to explain it to them. But when there is a bias, when there is a perception that is predetermined, when you want to analyze Türkiye, when you want to analyze the past 20 years of AK Party government, it becomes very challenging. Although now that resistance to understand has calmed down, I think.
Mehmet Celik, good to talk to you. I thank you very much for joining us.
Good to be with you.